Hi everyone, it's John with Seattle Coffee Gear. We're here in the commercial kitchen doing a crew review of the Eureka Drogheria MCD4 bulk coffee grinder. This is their bulk coffee grinder that is a stepless grinder. It comes in some different burr sizes. This one that I have right here is the 75 millimeter burr. You can see the burrs right here. As of right now, these are the same burrs as what comes in the Eureka Olympus espresso grinder. We actually put the red speed version of those in this grinder. We just like those a little bit better. This is Eureka's bulk coffee grinder. It is a stepless bulk coffee grinder, similar to some of the higher end bulk coffee grinders on the market. This version comes with 75 millimeter burrs. We have the red speed burrs in here right now. These are the standard burrs that come with it that we took out of it. They're the same burrs as come in the Eureka Olympus grinder. So those are interchangeable. Just have those there for show. This does have a very wide range of grind settings, down to espresso, because those are espresso burrs, up to what would be like a cold brew or a French press. I'm not the biggest fan of it when it gets out to those coarser settings because it does get a little bit inconsistent. I think that if they put on some slightly different burrs, maybe like a coarse burr for it, it would work a little bit better on those other ones out there. We'll look at actually some of the different grind settings in person and a little bit later on. One of the nice features of this grinder that is not most common on these grinders is the fact that this chute can fit into one of these newfangled bags. So I can put this up here and clip it on. This is full of coffee, obviously, so it's not going to hold it. But other style grinders, like there's a couple larger bulk grinders from Bunn and Curtis, they don't fit in this chute, which is a real problem, or they do, and it takes you twice the amount of time to grind this bag of coffee. I know some of you are freaking out right now, thinking about grinding an entire bag of coffee. You know what? Somebody doesn't have a grinder at home. They need their coffee ground to drink at home. Don't judge them. Anyways, let me grind this bag of coffee so you guys can get an idea for the speed there. I also have the blow-up hopper system from Eureka on this, and we can get a little bit of a feature on that as well. But I'm going to toss this coffee in here. And there we go. Show you how this clip works. And fire away. It's not the quietest grinder, but most bulk grinders aren't. This was not the best bag to use for this because this bag was already really full. And a little flick of that gets most of the rest of the coffee out of there. That is definitely my other mark against this grinder, is it is a little bit messy, as you just saw. Part of that was due to the fact that that bag was pretty full, and so as coffee gets ground, it just takes up more space. But it's another reason I'm not the biggest fan of these resealable bags, because they're just a little bit harder to fill. But it can grind through that bag pretty quickly. It is a little bit louder, but that is an accurate grind setting. This is kind of at a drip setting. We've been using it on the batch brewer behind me there. Why don't we talk about what some of you are going to be wanting to use this for, which is single dosing. I'm going to grab some more coffee and be right back. Let's talk about single dosing with this grinder. If this is going to be the bulk grinder in your shop, you're probably going to be using it for pour overs as well. So the ability to grind and have low retention is a big deal. First, we're going to talk about using this for something like a Kalito wave. So I have my coffee here. And I usually dose somewhere between 20 to 25 grams. It's way too much coffee. We're gonna call it, so that is 24.6 right now. So I'm gonna do this. Make sure I get all my beans off there. And let's see what I'm at right now. So that is right at 24.6. If I use this blow-up hopper, I would be getting any extra out. But I'm still right there at 24.6. It looks like I actually might have gone up a little bit to 24.8, but that's just an example of how little retention there is in this grinder, even without having to utilize this hopper system here. And just so you guys can see what the grind consistency looks like there at that range. It works well in this kind of medium grind setting for drip or Kalita wave. It would probably do well for V60. Going out to a Chemex and coarser, it does get a little bit inconsistent. You do start to see more fines, but in this range, it's great. Why don't we talk about single dosing for espresso on this grinder? So I'm going to bring this way down into the espresso range. And let's say I want 20 grams of coffee. Perfect. Okay, 20.1. There's one less bean in there. Now let's see what I get. So that was 18.4. Let's try and use this system and see what we get out of here. And that was right about 19. So as we're single dosing for espresso, I do notice that you have a little bit more retention on those finer grind settings. I'm gonna do this and pour it into one of my portafilters here. Just so you guys can see exactly how fine that is. And that's probably too fine for espresso. I haven't played with dialing this in at all. I can pull that shot and see what we get here, I think. Yeah, already I can tell it's pretty fine. And let's see what we get out here. So we are at the point where we are choking out this commercial espresso machine. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of how fine this grinder can go. If I back it off, I can get down to that espresso range and pull a really tasty shot. But this grinder can get down lower than espresso and still be cranking through those beans. And the grounds that came out of it were not that hot either. I'm gonna turn this back up here. So as you're noticing, some other coffee did fall out of there. This grinder is a good option if you're looking for a pretty versatile bulk grinder that's not going to be crazy expensive like some of the more popular options are on the market there. It is a little bit messy, as we saw. Typically higher powered grinders just equal more static, and this doesn't have any sort of static reduction on it there. The pour over grind setting had very little retention, had no retention actually. Doing that grind setting that was finer than espresso did yield about a gram of retention. But I'm going to grind some more coffee and show you guys what it's like at a very coarse setting now. So I have this all the way out here to a French press setting. Just gonna stop that there. And as you can see, this is pretty inconsistent. That came out really fast though. So I have pretty big chunks and some other chunks in there. Granted, if you're using this for cold brew or French press, it doesn't really have to be that accurate, just because those settings just don't require as much consistency as others do. But once you get out to this grind setting, you're grinding really quickly, so be careful, like I just found out there. Dialing it back to what would probably be good for a Chemex. I'm gonna get rid of the rest of that. As you can see here, I do get somewhat more consistency, but I still have those larger grounds right there, and then the smaller ones around it as well. I do think this is a good grinder, and it does fill an interesting niche in the market. If you're looking to single dose for espresso, it does that well. If you're looking to have something to single dose for your kind of medium pour over settings, it does that well. Really the two areas it struggles are when you get to those coarse ranges. As you can see, it's pretty messy in those coarse ranges. And then also just kind of mess overall. It would be really handy to have a little brush next to this grinder at all times, just to encourage cleaning consistently of it. Overall, I do think it's a good grinder, as I've already said. I hope this has been an enjoyable review for you guys. You guys learned something about this grinder. If you're considering this grinder, other grinder, any different commercial coffee equipment, we'd love to talk with you about that, see how we can help you with that, how this equipment might fit your needs. If you have a question about this video, leave a comment down below. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos. Thanks so much for watching, guys.